11. I don't believe you, Johnny.
Now we are.
I don't
Now we
believe-
are.
I don't believe you.
We
We're
are
live?
live now. We are live now. It is official, like a referee whistle.
I don't believe you. Now?
Now.
All right, I believe you now. It's Friday, December 11th. What is good? Whisper Nation, welcome to the fantasy playoffs. And if your league has not started the playoffs, you should change that. That's not the best system. Week 14 started the fantasy playoffs. We are here, the Fantasy Whispers, to help get you ready for this weekend slate of games, to go through the news and nuggets from around the league, as well as answer any lineup questions that you have. So Whisper Nation, thank you for joining us. First, let me introduce myself. I am Austin Sear, and of course, here joined by my panel of fantasy football experts, the rest of the Fantasy Whispers. Today, we got Big Travie. You can catch him on Twitter at Big Travie TFW. Big Travie, how you doing, my man?
Doing pretty good. Just woke up from a nap. So I'm like chilling a little bit, but had a cutie orange. Yeah, life's good. I just, ready to drop some fantasy knowledge. I'm rejuvenated, ready to go.
Up from a nap, got cuties in your face. Sounds like a good space to be in, my man. Johnny, how are you doing? This is Johnny Game Time Hicks. This is the man behind it all. This is the only reason that we are here today. Johnny Game Time Hicks. You can catch him on Twitter at Johnny. Tell him where you can catch him on Twitter at
Johnny_game time.
Thank you. It's got it under his picture. It doesn't have it under there for me. Johnny, how are you doing right now coming into the week 14 playoffs? It's that time of year, man. How you feeling?
It is that time of year. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we get nervous too. We get anxious. I'm real nervous and anxious. I'm excited because it's do or die, and so everything is on the line. There's no you risk it, no biscuit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I won't lie. I'm a little nervous right now. I'm a little excited for what could be in store on Sunday night and Monday and this weekend of football.
So a little bit of housekeeping work right here. This is our News and Nuggets show. We're going to be going through the entire league and sharing any new updates with you that might have popped up in the last couple of days, and then talk about their impact that they're going to have on your fantasy lineup, as well as the teams that they play for, and help work through some of these new bits of information, as well as answer any of your lineup questions, Whisper Nation. So for those of you who have jumped, thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon. You're going to help us reach a little bit of a goal. Our goal here is, I wrote it down so it's real. We're trying to get to 69 likes. We're trying to get to 69 thumbs up, and you can help us do that. In fact, we can't do it without your help. So if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. Do us a favor here. Hit that thumbs up button. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and like and subscribe. Help us grow the channel and do what we love doing, and that's building our fantasy football community here, connecting with people who love to talk about it, and help you get to that glory just a few weeks away. So Whisper Nation, we got 6 of you in the chat. If you could go ahead and do us a favor, hit that thumbs up. We're going to keep this pumping out for as long as it takes to get to 69 likes. So with that said, before we even jump into the news and nuggets, Matthew Noto asks, what's up, Matthew Noto? Good to have you here. Thoughts on Ayuk? I'll start off. He's an electric rookie. I like what he is mixing up. What about you, Travis?
I think Ayuk's pretty much a must start at this point. Roto World came out with a little stat over the last 4 weeks. He's got 28% market share. Dug a little deeper. That's 10 targets per game. Over that same span, he hasn't seen below 75 yards. And he scored 3 times. This is a guy that, Oz Austin said, very aptly, like, he is electric, and he's also getting the volume. And Nick Mullins isn't a detriment to him at all and his success at all. So you can fire up Ayuk, even in a tough matchup against Washington.
Dude, I was doing some number crunching on Jordan Reed and the rest of the tight end options over there in San Francisco. And I wanted to see if Jordan Reed had been getting the most targets of any option there. No, it is Ayuk. Ayuk is the man. He's getting the volume now, and he's also got that explosive element to his game. I love what he's about, man. This rookie class is insane.
Yeah.
Gaming JML says, yo, Akers. That's right. What's up,
Hey.
yo, Akers? Super glad that I have him in the Whisper Nation League, except I'm in the consolation bracket, so nobody cares. But yeah, Johnny, Cam Akers went off last night. I know you had been hyping him up. You were talking a lot about Cam Akers. End of the year was his breakout period, and it might have just happened. Is this for real,
and
Johnny?
I think it is for real. I think you're going to start seeing him really be a force for those people who picked him up and are going to play him. I think that he has the potential to help you win your league. He's a great addition this late in the fantasy season.
All right. Oh, we got some more questions to start pouring in over here. Brett benched Akers for Jonathan Taylor. Hopefully that doesn't hurt you. You never know, but it probably will hurt you, my man. I'm sorry about that. That one stings. Bryson Gleason says, is Akers starting to look like what Gurley did for the Rams?
Well,
No.
two
I
things.
would cool it on the
Yeah.
Gurley comparison. He's obviously not getting as many pass catching looks as Gurley got in his heyday, and there's still Henderson and Brown to compete for some targets and stuff there too.
What I will say is a couple things. Jonathan Taylor is still fine. You're gonna have a good game from Jonathan Taylor. So maybe not as big of a game as Akers, but he'll have a good game.
Maybe bigger.
It could be bigger.
Maybe twice as big.
And then the other thing is listen, Cam Akers, whether it's Akers, Henderson, or I mean, Gurley was putting up ungodly numbers, so you're not going to see that. But I mean, like 20 fantasy points is what 15 to 20 fantasy points is what you can probably start to expect from Cam Akers moving forward.
We've got a couple of other questions jumping in. Whisper Nation is active. We love to see that, Whisper Nation. Thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon. And if you're sitting here in the chats and you haven't hit that thumbs up button, you can and help us get to 69 thumbs up. So that's what we're aiming for here today. Thank you here for joining us. Keep dropping us your questions, and we're going to get to all of them. Gaming Gel, that was a clutch start for me. Way to go on that Akers grab. Clamped EZ says CeeDee Lamb, T.Y. Hilton, or Marvin Jones this week. Which one do you like of those three, Johnny and Travis? CeeDee Lamb, T.Y. Hilton, or Marvin Jones? I'm taking down CeeDee Lamb for me.
You're going CeeDee
I honestly
Lamb?
think it's Marvin. I think it's Marvin Jones. Like, look, I understand Jair Alexander. I'm a Packers fan. I get it. Jair Alexander's been great. But Austin, like he said on the matchup show, like Marvin Jones is the wide receiver 8 since Kenny Galladay's gone down. He's been awesome. And I'm looking at his stats here in PPR formats. He's only dipped below 10 points once in the last 7 games. So I think you can trust Marvin Jones, even in a tough matchup.
And a very high
and the other bit on that one.
55.5 point over under and Green Bay's favored, you're going to be having to throw.
And just because Travis here brought it up, of the Packers defensive backs, Jair Alexander is our stud, but he plays 68% on the left side, and Marvin Jones moves around a lot. It's a near third split between left, right, and slot. So he's going to get some Jair Alexander. He will not get shadowed by him, and he's the number 6 wide receiver since week 8. I'm feeling really good about Marvin Jones there too. Yeah. So we've got Deontay, I'm assuming that's Johnson, or Jarvis Landry. I'm leaning more towards Jarvis. Johnny, I want to get your take on this one. What do you like, Deontay Johnson or Jarvis Landry here?
I would go Deontay Johnson, especially if this is a PPR league. Jarvis getting a difficult matchup against Baltimore. I do understand that Baltimore is a little bit, if they can move around Jarvis, so keep him open. But I actually think that the way that they're going to win this game is through the run game. I think they really want to establish that. And Deontay Johnson has been, second most targeted wide receiver behind Devontae Adams. So I'm sticking with Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, 52 targets over the last 4 weeks. And I think if you go back 5 weeks, it's 62 targets over the last 5 weeks. The man has just been a beast, and his role looks really entrenched. Big Travie. Do you like Myles Gaskins for the playoffs? Clutchful wants to know. What's good, Clutchful? Thanks for joining us.
Right now, I love his matchup this week. Obviously, Kansas City, a clutch matchup. It looks like they'll get New England the week after that, then Vegas. So, yeah, at this point, after seeing what Akers just did to New England and what other guys have done in New England, like San Francisco, I can think a couple weeks back just ran all over New England as well. As long as Gaskin's healthy, I mean, this guy has seen 21, 18 touches in his last couple games. He's a stud, man. They pound the rock over there in Miami, and he's going to be the guy as long as he's healthy.
And Gaskin is the only running back for the Miami Dolphins that pops up on the top 50 list in terms of elusive ranking, which is one of Pro Football Focus deeper metrics. Not any of their other running backs, and they have a lot of them, whether it's Ahmed or Breda or Jordan Howard going back, or I know there's even another one in there. hasn't broken the top 50. So it's Gaskins as the
And
most
just
talented.
for reference, how good Miles Gaskin is, he's an RB 36, so he's an RB 3, and he's missed 4 games. So I mean, he's basically startable with missing 4 games. So he's good. Like, put him in there.
Great point there, Big Travie. Brett asks, do you guys like IDP leagues? Says it's his first time playing in one, and he's not sure if he likes it. Johnny,
Yeah, I don't. I've played in a couple of IDP leagues and I didn't like it as well. I just think that you're not really getting a huge scarcity. Like sometimes you have like an outstanding player that's like the one defensive. JJ Watt was when I was playing IDP. JJ Watt was like the worthy guy on defense to kind of like spend a draft pick on. But other than that, it was always like you would just stream the position. So. Which if you like doing that and being more active, then yeah, that could be for you. But just in general, for me, it wasn't for me. I just didn't like it as much.
good take, Johnny. And we're going to jump here into some of these news and nuggets. Whisper Nation, we got 12 of you here. Thanks so much for spending your Friday afternoon with us. It's awesome. Keep dropping us your questions. And if you haven't dropped a thumbs up, please do so. We're doing our best here to get to 69 likes on the day. You can help us do that. You will make our afternoon, which will make our weekend. And then we're going to bring some hot fire for you next week. It just keeps it going around and around and around. So let's do it together, man. It's going to be a fun time. Jumping here to the Arizona Cardinals, Johnny, we have DeAndre Hopkins, who has been just a awesome pick for fantasy players as well as for the Arizona Cardinals. DeAndre Hopkins, he's a full go at Friday's practice. We've got Larry Fitzgerald, who says he will. General Manager Steve Keim says Larry will play Week 14. Glad to have you back, Larry Legend. And then we know that Christian Kirk's been a little bit inconsistent. How does this news right here impact any of your takes on the Arizona Cardinals wide receiving options? Are you pausing at all? Are you changing your game plan at all from any of this news?
No, I think that you're still. I do think D Hop will play. You're still going to play him. He has been, kind of limited on the downside the last few weeks, but you're always going to stick him in there. I think this could be, as a Cardinals fan, I'm kind of hoping it could be a get right game with Larry Legend coming back into this, receiving core. I think it could help this offense.
Yeah, for sure. Here, we've got some more questions jumping up here. Clutchful asks, Calvin Ridley has a tough schedule. Is he still an easy weekly start, Travis? How do you feel about Calvin Ridley right now, man?
I love Calvin Ridley, especially with Julio Jones out. I mean, yeah, he can have a tough matchup. That's fine. He is a dominant performer. He's only had less than 14 fantasy points in 2 starts all year. He's a stud. Like, you've got to put him in there, and it doesn't really matter. And this game is not a tough matchup. So this game is Chargers are giving up 21 points per game to the wide receiver. So it's not even that bad of a matchup that he's going up against. It's sneaky over under, a lot of potential for a shootout in that one.
This is a natural segue into our next team here, which is the Atlanta Falcons. Big Trav, you already mentioned here how Julio Jones is out dealing with that hamstring injury. You talked about how that benefits Calvin Ridley. Do you also feel, Travis, that benefits the other playmaking options, such as Russell Gage and their tight end and Hayden Hurst, who's been limited dealing with an ankle injury? He was limited again on Thursday. It looks like he's probably going to play, but you need to keep an eye out for that. How does this Julio Jones news impact the rest of the playmaking options for you, Travi?
Yeah, I think we'll start with Hayden Hurst. It's a bottom 10 matchup as far as the Chargers giving up, a lot of points to the tight end position. So you like that. You'll fire up Hayden Hurst there, even though it's been a roller coaster, because it's been a roller coaster with every tight end. So if you're already streaming Hayden Hurst, you might as well keep him there, start him in a good matchup like this one with Julio out. Then you've got Russell Gage, who's been targeted in the red zone or in the end zone in every game except for 4 this year. He got a touchdown again last week. I like Russell Gage with Julio out to get increased volume. Had 8 targets last week, 5 the week before, and then 12 the week before that. So in that New Orleans game. So both New Orleans games, tough defense, kind of like, it would scare you off, but he produced against them. So I like him against the Chargers.
Right on, man. Really great
flex range.
That's a great take. Thanks for breaking that one down there, Travis. Matthew Noto jumps in the chat. Thanks for joining us, Matthew. Thoughts on Ayuk? We talked about this at the start of the program. Big Ayuk fans over here. We like his opportunity. We like his play style. We don't really care who the quarterback is. We like Ayuk. Get him going for yourself. Cast Pajamas, welcome back, Cast Pajamas. Love to have you here. Hoping your seasons are going well. Thoughts on Logan Thomas, Johnny? How are you feeling about him this week?
It's talking about a tight end, streaming tight end. I think that he's a fine stream this week. It is a difficult matchup, probably the toughest one he's got to face so far. Only Indy has given up fewer points to the tight end position than San Francisco, but they have given up 3 touchdowns to the tight end this year. And you look at Logan Thomas, he's had 10 or more PPR points in 5 of his last 7 games, 4 touchdowns in his last 7 games. He's 8th in targets for tight ends and 7th in red zone targets with 14. So I do think that Logan Thomas is a solid play this week, especially in the landscape we're talking of tight ends.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of tight ends, Johnny, the Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews was activated off the reserve COVID list. Is this all systems go for Mark Andrews, Johnny?
Yeah, I believe so. I'll actually turn it right back to you. I know you're a big fan of Mark Andrews. You got some cool stats on Mark Andrews. I'm excited for this game for sure against Cleveland.
Yeah, Mark Andrews has a lot of exciting things going on right now. Overall in the season, despite missing a couple of games, he's the number 5 tight end in points per game. And with Boyle out, his snap percentage went from 59% in week 9 to in the 70s week 10 and 87% week 12, where he caught 5 of his team's leading 7 targets for 96 yards and a touchdown. Given this week, they're going up against the Browns, who led up the second most amount of points to the fantasy tight end position. I'm feeling really good about Mark Andrews, both this week in a smash spot and moving forward to which looks like an expanded role on an already offense that liked him doing what he was doing. So yeah, Andrews for me is a must start this week and the rest of the season here moving forward. Big Travie here. We've got questions coming in from from Larry VGS. What's up, Larry VGS? Thanks for joining the show. DJ Chark or Juju? Don't know what scares me more, Juju's 3 yards or target or Glennon?
Yeah, I would fade DJ Shark for Juju Smith-Schuster. Not only has Juju kind of gotten it done when, I understand he's had the floor issues this year, but he's been a consistent player for them, especially in big matchups. And then he gets Buffalo's secondary, which their slot corner has just been roasted by opposing defenders this year. Teron Johnson's giving up 1.51 yards per route run. We've talked about this at length all year about how the slot receiver just works Buffalo. And so I'm really excited for Juju in this game.
Works them like a bad habit.
Yeah.
Can I drop Pittman for Brandon Ayuk? Ask
Absolutely.
SB B.
Done that yesterday.
Yeah. You go do it before somebody else adds him.
Don't even listen to our answer. Just go do it. Jay Dizzle says Tonyan or Goddard, Travie.
Give me Robert Tonyan. I know it's a little bit of a tough matchup against Detroit, but this guy's got 3 straight games of a touchdown, 3 straight games of 5 targets. Rodgers really filling him over the last 3 weeks. He's been second in targets behind Devontae Adams. Goddard's going to be dealing with a brand new quarterback and a rookie quarterback at that. So with Zach Ertz back as well, I'd be going with Robert Tonyan.
So that was Jay Dizzle's question, Tonyan or Goddard. Kevin asks Robert Tonyan or Hunter Henry. I'll stay here. Travie, what do you think? You said Tonyan over Goddard. What about Tonyan over Hunter Henry, though?
I'm going to play the matchup with Hunter Henry. He's been at least more consistent yardage-wise. The matchup is really good with Atlanta. They're top 10 against the tight end. So if you're asking me about consistency and matchup, Hunter Henry gets both check marks there. As you know, but I do think that Tonyan's at least got more upside in my mind.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And the cool stat on Hunter Henry was how much of his points come from yards. It's like over 75%, which is he's the highest tight end in the top 12 to collect his points from yards, which means if he gets some touchdowns coming his way, he's really going to take a jump. And I'd say it's easier for a big old tight end to start getting some more touchdowns than it is for them to carve out a new role in their offense. He's already got the hard part there established there with that role in the offense. So
we got
moving
9
over
likes.
here,
We're only 60 away from the goal.
we are 60 away. Thank you for bringing that one up here. Whisper Nation, this is our goal. We're trying to get to 69 likes right here. That's what we're doing. Only you can help us get there. We don't have enough fake accounts to jump on here and hit the button ourselves. We need you to do it. We can't record, ask you all these questions, answer these questions, run our fake accounts at the same time. We need your help to get to 69, help make our weekend, help make our days. We got you on the backside with it. So thanks for the queue up, Travi. Thank you, Whisper Nation, for joining us this Friday afternoon. I want to talk about the Buffalo Bills, but they don't have anything exciting to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the Carolina Panthers, where DJ Moore, is not expected to be available week 14 against the Broncos, Johnny. Now it's COVID. So we had an ankle injury. It was a non-contact. He left the field 2 weeks ago before the bye. Now might be having COVID, it's looking like. How are you feeling right now about DJ Moore and then the other pass catching options here for Carolina?
Yeah, not good for DJ Moore. Get him out of your lineup. I don't expect him, he's not going to play. So what does this do for Robbie Anderson? I think that makes him a must start play. I really like the matchup for him. Denver, a little bit scary. Might be on paper. Their defense is a little bit bend but don't break. But I do think that Robbie Anderson will have a major uptick this weekend. And then I also think that Curtis Samuel now becomes a flex play, a stream, a wide receiver 3. Given that we've already seen the chemistry between him and Bridgewater, and now he should see an increase in snaps. He's already getting 16% target market share, and that was with DJ Moore. So yeah, I do get, some people say Denver only allowing 21 points per game on average to wide receivers, but I do think Carolina will be able to move the ball, maybe not score touchdowns in this game.
I think it's a really good breakdown there. Thanks, Johnny. Here, Yaz Whedon, what's going on, Yaz? Good to have you here with us. Flex Hunt versus Baltimore, talking about Kareem Hunt. Curtis Samuel versus Denver, or T.Y. Hilton versus Vegas, Travi. Kareem Hunt versus Baltimore, Curtis Samuel versus Denver, T.Y. Hilton versus Vegas.
If this is PPR, I would probably roll with Kareem Hunt. I know it's not a great matchup, but I think that Cleveland's going to want to establish the run. They're going to want to get him going through the air. Baltimore giving up the 11th most receptions to running backs in the NFL in 2020. I think there's a lot more path to usage for Hunt. The bottom could fall out any minute with T.Y. Hilton, I feel like. And Curtis Samuel is, I know he's going to get extended usage, but we just talked about how the matchup can be kind of tough. And I'd kind of, favor Robbie Anderson to overcome that before I'd favor Curtis Samuel. So I'm going to lean with Kareem Hunt here. I'm going to lean with the talent.
Any disagreement from you, Johnny?
No, I was just gonna add on to that and say, one thing that we know for certain is that kind of Kareem Hunt is a little bit game script proof, because even if they're up, you could still see them. They'll give I believe it's like every third drive they'll give to Kareem Hunt, so he'll get the rushing work. And then if they're behind, they're going to pass and mostly use Kareem Hunt. So I feel like Kareem Hunt has the safest floor as well out of all these guys. So that's where I would go as well.
Right on. Jay Dizzle's asking about the Carolina Panthers defense special teams. Man, I was so close to starting them last week against the Vikings. I was so close, and I didn't, though. How you feeling about them this week, though, Travi? You like them against Denver, or are you fading that matchup?
I tried to target against Denver last week with Kansas City. It didn't end up working out too well. They only scored about 5 points. I think it's a great, logical start. You look at the game as a 46.5 point over-under. Carolina's favored at home, so it's a lower over-under. They're favored. They're going to have Denver traveling. I just don't trust it. Denver has always hung around in games that they shouldn't. This one has sneaky, shootout potential for me. I think that this game could get going back and forth, and I've been fading Denver for somebody even like New York, the New York Football Giants in a matchup, or Kansas City against Miami. Some of those teams that maybe have as equal a floor play as Carolina, but much higher ceiling in my mind. So I think I would talk myself out of them like I just did.
I think you just talked me out of it too. And hey, if he just talked you into anything and you haven't hit that like button yet, Whisper Nation, we're trying to get to 69 likes on the day. So if you could help us out by hitting that thumbs up, we would greatly appreciate it as we keep dropping these news and nuggets and asking and answering your line of questions. Keep hitting us with them. Kane 2100 asks Hunt or Swift, Johnny. I think I know who you're going to go with on this matchup. Kareem Hunt or DeAndre Swift?
I think I would still go with Kareem Hunt based on the fact that I'm not 100% sure what the usage is going to be for Swift as of this very moment. Check back in with us on Sunday where we'll know a little bit more information. Swift did get a full practice in.
That's what we call a tease, folks. That's the best in the biz right there. Give you a little bit of a tease. I'm not going to give you the full answer. Come back Sunday, and we'll give you the answer.
I'm just saying, Swift has a juicy matchup. He did get a full practice in, but we want to see what the next 48 hours could reveal a lot. 24 to 48 hours could reveal a lot about Swift's. They could come out and say what his game plan is to hold him back a little bit or not. So I would, as of this very moment, I would tend to go Hunt, even though it might not be as nice, but just based on the uncertainty as of this very moment, what his usage is going to be, that's where I would go.
Yeah, Johnny alluded to it earlier. Join us Sunday morning, an hour and a half before kickoff, where Johnny and Travis are going to be going back through all of your lineup questions live on air. Join us here on the YouTube channel 90 minutes before kickoff on Sunday. If we get news that the Detroit Lions plan on unleashing Swift, that answer will change, but you got to tune in on Sunday to get our take on that one. Answering some more of these questions here from Whisper Nation. We've got some great ones. We've got Bobby Schmerda. What's going on, Bobby? Asks, bench one in a PPR league. Swift, Gaskins, Kamara, Swift, Jefferson, Thielen, DeAndre Hopkins.
Sounds like
he's got 2 DeAndre Swifts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Swift, Gaskin, Kamara, Jefferson, Thielen, D-Hop.
Bench one PPR. I don't
think as of
right now, it would be Swift or Gaskin. I would say Swift as well, just because, like Johnny said, the usage is the question here. I also just like, if we knew Swift was the starter, if they said, okay, he's good to go, no limitations, like Swift would jump ahead of Gaskin for me there. But even then, it's hard for me to bench some of these other guys for Swift in a great matchup.
Bobby Schmert is asking Brady or Herbert at the quarterback spot. Tom Brady, Justin Herbert. The rookie versus the opposite of a rookie.
The opposite of a rookie. I am going to go with Herbert. I'm a little biased. I have Herbert in our league of record. I look at the Vegas line for this game, and Vegas thinks that Tampa Bay will handle this game pretty handedly. I think it could get out of hand. You could have game script where Brady doesn't need to throw, whereas the Chargers-Falcons game should be close. Keep Herbert involved, and the ability to score more points, I think, lies with Justin Herbert this week.
I want to stick with you, Travis, for this next question, because I know you've been personally invested in this player, and I know he's done you dirty a little bit, and your heartstrings have gone back and forth. Cat's Pajamas asks your thoughts on Hollywood Brown.
Look, I'm back in the flames with Hollywood Brown, and it's a love-hate relationship, as Austin just alluded to, for sure, but he's got back-to-back weeks with 8 targets, back-to-back weeks with a touchdown, and only 3 teams, Houston, Dallas, and Minnesota, give up more touchdowns to the wide receiver position than Cleveland does. So you're liking Marquise Brown's shot and an opportunity to score here.
Kane 2100. We got his Hunter Swift question answered. He says hi from Mexico.
Yeah.
Hola. What's going on, man? International audience. It doesn't matter what country you're tuning in from. If you haven't hit that like button already, what are you waiting for? We're trying to get to 69 likes on the day, and only you can help us get there. So do us a favor, if you could, and do that kindly. Brett Johnson's jumping in the chat. What's good, Brett Johnson? Hello, friends. Great to see your faces, and I wish 2/3 of you the best of luck this week. Nice. That's a little interleague of record show up in our chat. Good to see you here. Bobby Schmerda did not mean to put Swift twice. My bad. The player's so nice, he dropped him twice.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Exactly.
We love DeAndre Swift around here. It's cool.
especially Johnny, he put his entire fantasy football reputation on the line for DeAndre Swift. And then week 3, Travis said you can drop DeAndre Swift, and things in the break room got weird over here.
Yep.
But then DeAndre Swift came back, bounced back, and he's doing his thing. And Johnny's looking smart. Big brain on that one. Big brain being kept warm by that beanie over there for Johnny Game Time Hicks. It's just a health issue now. The talent is undeniable. Larry VGS has a Carolina defensive special teams. Would Washington or the 49ers, though, be a better start, Travis? How do you shake that one this week? From
Take a look here,
Larry
so.
VGS.
Yeah, I would play San Fran over in a heartbeat, actually. San Fran at home against a Washington team. If you remember, I forgot his name, Alex Smith, if I could remember his name, had a bloody ankle, had a little bit of the bloody sock going on against Pittsburgh.
So weird.
It was gushing blood. He afterwards, he said, "I've never seen anyone gush like this." That in itself is a little frightening. San Fran not really at home, but they are favored. Low over under, maybe the lowest of the week as I'm looking at it. So you love that as far as not a lot of points to be scored. And San Fran's been playing good defense recently. I mean, I know they had the Buffalo game. They gave up 4 touchdowns there, but prior to that, they've been playing pretty good. And they're getting a little bit healthier. So give me San Fran.
All right, I like that one here. Travi, I talked to you about Hollywood Brown, but I want to ask Johnny if he would start Hollywood Brown or Tim Patrick in a full point PPR this week. Foster Child needs to know.
In a PPR league, I would play Tim Patrick in a PPR league. I think that he has a safer floor, and I think that his ceiling is just about the same. Big Travi's laughing at me. I will say I am playing Tim Patrick this week. So sure, there could be a little bit of bias there, but I know Tim Patrick has been really, really solid in what looks to be a favorable matchup against Carolina.
Yeah, you're biased on it because you've done the research. You like the start so much, you're putting him in a critical matchup in your league of record. So the bias holds some weight with that.
Yeah,
man.
look, I can laugh at Johnny, and he's definitely wrong in this instance. But yeah, I would agree with Austin. Like when you put in the research and and you're riding with Whisper Nation, and you're saying, "Look, I'm in the trenches with you. I'm taking the chance." That's a beautiful thing. That's how you guys know we're out here. We're playing with the same kind of ammunition you guys are, and we're just here trying to make we're all trying to put our fortune teller hat on here and do something here. And I just happen to think I have the better player this week in that matchup.
And, it's a quick conversation around what we do here. A lot of this is gambling in the sense of probability is involved. You also do have influence that's there. And while you can make the right play based on the numbers, it's a probability at the end of the day. So is it advised if you're playing poker to go all in on a 7-2, if that's your 2 dealt cards? No, you're probably going to lose to a hand that's got pocket aces. But when those 3 cards come down, if 2 of them are 7s and 1's a 2, you just smoke those pocket aces. So it's still a bad play to go all in on the 7-2. But if you win the hand, you won the hand. So who's really to say? So we're here to try to help allude to the probabilities that you're looking at, but you never know which 3 cards are going to come on the river or on the flop. So that's the way we look at it. And we have to make tough decisions because we know you're playing in a league with a bunch of smart people, or maybe you're playing with a bunch of dumb lucky people. It doesn't really matter. That player that you were looking to put on your roster could be on somebody else's roster, and you got to scrape the barrel and find a play. This week, Johnny's feeling really good about Tim Patrick. You don't have to scrape the barrel that far to find him, rolling him out in an important matchup. And, give us your hot takes as well. We'd love to hear on some of those deeper dive sleepers. My guy all year has been Brashad Perriman, barring health. We'll see. But you put those ones in. You bring them to the forefront. Sometimes you ride or die. And if you do a hit on one of those that the industry was low on, goodness golly, it feels really nice there. Yaz Whedon, thanks, gents. Best and biggest teases in the business. Yeah, that's just for you, man. Just for you, Yaz. How about Gesicki versus Kansas City or Cook at Philly? How are you feeling about this one? Either one of you. Anybody jump out here? We've got Gesicki with the Dolphins versus Kansas City, or Cook. I assume he's talking about Jared Cook against Philly. Jared Cook had that sneaky game last week with that touchdown. Hadn't done jack in a long time.
Philly's been a really good spot to be able to blow up on too, so I understand the allure here. But I'm going to go with Gesicki. He's increased not only his snap share over the last couple of weeks, but his production. And Kansas City been pretty decent against the tight end as far as like letting up points. So give me Gesicki. I think it's a safer play, and it's got more upside too.
You're right. It's that new news. There's so much room for Gesicki to improve. Like Jared Cook doesn't have a lot of room above his head. but Gesicki is like a potato chip in a bag. Looks up and there's just clear air right above him. Like he's got the physical
Not a lot
ability.
of
He's got
room
the
above
snap.
his head. Are you saying that Jared Cook's
No, a
got
ton of
like
room
a
above
big
his head.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying Gesicki's he's a potato chip in a bag. You look up and it's just air before you hit to the top of the bag. You know what I mean?
I like that.
So there's so much room for Gesicki to improve. Yeah, here's my impersonation of a chip in a bag. Because it's empty. My partner is on the toilet in the other room, and she laughed at that one. So I'm glad that one worked. But, hey, you miss all the shots you don't take. We've got Terrell Too Nice in the Whisper Nation chat here. He sat Cam Akers. He just wanted to get it out there. Barf emoji. That's what he said.
Hey, we're here
so I
for
feel
that.
You, man.
Hey, we're therapists as well. You know, fantasy therapists.
Yeah, fantasy football therapists. That's what we're here for.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, at least you didn't drop him a week ago.
Oh, this is Travi. I want to ask you the same question from Terrell Too Nice. Allen Lazard or J.K. Dobbins? He needs an upside play because he sat Akers and his opponent has Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I understand wanting to block him here, but it looks like Allen Lazard's going to play limited snaps. They're going to put him on a snap count because of his core injury. So I'd actually play J.K. Dobbins. I think he's got more upside. You look at how explosive he was, or he has been over the last month when he's played, and he's also in a pretty decent, not a terrible matchup. Cleveland's been good against the run, but he's in a decent spot here and should get some looks, enough to break one off. So I'll take Dobbins over Lazard.
Yeah, and he's the best running back on that team, right? Like J.K. Dobbins is the best running back.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I mean, he should be getting more work is what I mean.
Agreed. Andrews or Tunyon? Mark Andrews or Robert Tunyon? Is that Andrews?
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody taking Tunyon over? Yeah. No. Mark Andrews, Terrell Too Nice. Cat's Pajamas says, thanks, guys. You're welcome, Cat's Pajamas. Nick Miner. Great stream as always. Thank you so much, man. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, and it's not just Nick, if anybody else in there listening has not yet hit that thumbs up, we're trying to get to 69 likes today. Help us out with that one. We'll keep helping you out. We'll keep scratching each other's backs on that. Great luck in the playoffs. Thank you for helping me get here. You are very welcome. Who are you liking at tight end this week? Jay Smith or Dallas Goedert?
Jonnu Smith did get it in a full practice. He's good to go.
Yeah. I'm not liking that Jalen Hurts start.
Yeah,
it's really tough for me to justify.
I know the concern here has been Jonnu Smith's dip in production over the last few, and he's got the injury, obviously, but he still is top 10. He's 8th in red zone targets amongst tight ends. So you got to love that usage there.
Yeah. Yaz Whedon gave Akers his first start of the year yesterday. That had a lot to do with Sanders not putting on Miles, though. Good start, Yaz. Love to see that. Nice. Working through some of these other questions here. Terrell Too Nice, Duke Johnson, Allen Lazard, or J.K. Dobbins? I feel Duke Johnson will produce with Fuller out. You've also got David Johnson out, who's now back on the IR with some COVID news and some, I don't know what's going on in the organization news. So they just do what they do. So any change on there, Duke?
No, I think I'm still going with J.K. Dobbins. Like I think Duke Johnson, we had C.J. Procise cutting into his workload last time he had the start. So I would still run with J.K. Dobbins.
It is a difficult matchup against Chicago for.
Unless you're Adrian Peterson, dude, then you score 2 touchdowns on him.
Exactly.
Do what you do, right? Kalen C, thanks for joining us here. Good to have you. Start one wide receiver and a flex. So we've got 2. Tyler Boyd, Ezekiel Elliott, Thomas, Lockett, and Jonathan Taylor. Start one wide receiver. So I guess we got to start 2. Boyd, Zeke, Thomas, Lockett, and Jonathan Taylor.
I don't know if this is PPR, but even if it's not, I think I'm going Michael Thomas and Tyler Lockett in this. Lockett's in a smash spot against the Jets. I know he hasn't been great for you, and Michael Thomas has just been getting great usage here with Taysom Hill. So I would start both those studs.
No disagreement on this side. Alberto Lopez, really need your help for my playoff matchup. Glad to have you here. I picked up Dallas, but can't trust their defense. There's Carolina, but they have COVID. There's also Tampa and Washington. Who should I go with?
I would roll with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I would go with Tampa Bay.
I think Tampa Bay is a great spot. They're favored by just under a touchdown. Let me just double check. I think they're they're at home. So you got Minnesota traveling out of the dome there. I love it. Yeah, I'm going to roll with Tampa Bay.
Kalen C just following up. Also, thoughts on Thomas, and we're talking Michael Thomas. And if so, we're feeling good about Michael Thomas, right?
Yeah, he's been Austin brought up in the matchup show how good the completion percentage is for Taysom Hill. He's rivaling Drew Brees, and that's really affected Michael Thomas in a positive way. He's really put up some good numbers with Taysom Hill in the lineup.
Yeah. Swift or Monty in the flex? Monty, David Montgomery?
Yeah.
If so,
yeah,
we love that volume, right?
Volume, great matchup again.
Yep.
He's looking pretty good. He's looking the best he's looked his entire NFL career right now.
That is an accurate statement.
Yeah. Zahui Egal, apologies for that butcher. Mike Davis or J.K. Dobbins? We know that Christian McCaffrey is probably going to be out again.
I'm gonna go with Mike Davis on this one over J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard to argue with the volume. You look at Denver giving up on average 100 yards and a touchdown to opposing running backs. But then Mike Davis has been underwhelming in his last few starts as well. But I'm not going to argue with starting volume to Johnny's point. I think that's the better bet here.
Yeah. Terrell, too nice. Thoughts on Sterling Shepard PPR with Daniels back or Rashad Perriman versus Seattle? We played for last year and feasted with Mims out. Either strong take from either one of you on this one. Sterling Shepard PPR or
PPR. Yeah, if is Daniel Jones back? Was that announced? He's going to be back. Okay.
He had a full practice and today he's expected to play.
Yeah, I would say with Daniel Jones back, Sterling Shepard has feasted in PPR. He's been a great, solid play, and I understand Perriman's probably the upside play for sure. But I would trust Shepard's floor in PPR with Daniel Jones in the lineup.
Yeah, I like that one. And I'm a Perriman. I like what Perriman brings to the table, but that PPR component is a Shepard start for me too. Kalen says, thanks a lot, guys. You are very welcome. And thanks to everybody here in Whisper Nation. And if you like what you're hearing, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, do us everybody here a favor. And if you could please hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up while you're at it. We're going to keep working through
44 more likes.
44 more. We can do this. We can do this. We can do anything together. And we are Whisper Nation. Let's make it happen. I want to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. This is Travi, I'm burning on this one here. T. Higgins, we know we've got Brandon Allen at the quarterback position. We got T. Higgins, their rookie wide receiver, who's done just a great job. He's questionable this week, though, with a hamstring. They're going up against the Cowboys. You love to see that. You don't love the downgrade at quarterback. You don't like the tissue issue. T. Higgins had been a pretty reliable wide receiver 3 flex start for you. Is he still, Travis?
I think if he goes, you're definitely okay with flexing him, just because the matchup is too good to pass up in my mind. But you got to understand the risk you're taking with him in the lineup with the hamstring. He could pull up on it at any minute and be done for the day. But literally that happens to a lot of players every week. So for me, I would trust in the matchup. I would trust in T. Higgins' talent if they give him a go. He's literally one of the few ways that this offense moves the ball. And so I like T. Higgins in this cupcake matchup.
So Kane 2100 here in the Whisper Nation chat said he's got 3 quarterbacks: Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, and Jalen Hurts. And Rivers is in free agency. Thank you a lot. This is from I swear to goodness, he was listening to the matchup show. We were talking about all these strange streamable quarterbacks and how we'd kind of shake them out. I'm really glad that we found this scenario where we got to address this now, boys. We got someone in the playoffs. Kane needs our help. He's got Derek Carr, Andy Dalton, Jalen Hurts covering his bases, and with Phillip Rivers on the waivers. Who would you like to start this week? Not Jalen Hurts for me. I'm going to rule him out first thing. There's too small sample size. He had sub 50% completion percentage last week.
I think you're right. It's between Andy Dalton and Derek Carr. And when we started the matchup show, I might have made a case harder for Andy Dalton. But I keep looking at this over-under. It's a 52.5 point over-under in the Indianapolis-Vegas game. And we've seen when Indy plays a good offense, and I'm not saying Las Vegas is great, but when they play a good offense, they give up points. So I'll be taking Derek Carr here. I think the points are there to be had, and I think they can move the ball on Indy where some other teams haven't been able to.
What about you, Johnny?
Yeah, I think I would stay in the Flames with Derek Carr. I think he's shown the most upside of any of these quarterbacks. And like we said, it's not like any of the matchups are that great. Um, I don't trust
Andy
Andy Dalton.
Dalton in that revenge game, dude.
I just don't. I don't trust
Nice.
Andy Dalton, man. I don't. I would rather put my faith in Derek Carr.
I think Phillip Rivers here is a fine play, but the Jacoby Brissett involvement gets me a little concerned. I see his ceiling coming down with that. Derek Carr, I think, is the best quarterback. If I was starting an NFL team right now, I would want Derek Carr of this mix to be my starting quarterback if I'm trying to win this year right now. Andy Dalton has got some real nice upside. He's been on the up and up. He's been playing better, and he's got the best set of weapons around him. But it's just too small of a sample size in 2020 for me to trust him at all in such a meaningful game. Give me last week's #1 overall quarterback in Derek Carr. That's where I'm sitting. That's a tough matchup though. Let us know how it goes, Kane 2100. Where I'm personally curious about that one. Connor LaRose asks another quarterback question: Brady or Taysom, and then pick 3. Well, let's stick with this one: Brady or Taysom Hill this week.
Going Tom Brady. And I think Tom Brady. I think this is a sneaky shootout here. And I think that Tom Brady, we've seen him miss just barely on a lot of deep throws, and then you look at this matchup, and it screams to me like this will be a shootout. I'm staying with Brady.
Any disagreement on you, Travi?
Yeah, I mean, no, there's not. I think it's close. You want to take the floor of Taysom Hill and his running ability. But I agree with Johnny. I think this, you look at Tampa Bay's secondary, it's kind of been had over the last few weeks. And I think that Minnesota's got 2 talented wide receivers that could really keep up with this Tampa Bay team. So as long as Kirk Cousins can kind of play with that fire, you like that fire in him this weekend, I think
Like
this could
that?
be this could be a really good game.
Yeah. He's got then we got to run. We're going to run through most of his lineup here. He's trying to get 3. Hollywood Brown, Amari Cooper, Zeke, T.Y. Hilton, Myles Gaskin, Devin Singletary, Tim Patrick. So maybe we can break this down. We got to pick 3 of the wide receivers. We've got Hollywood, Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, Tim Patrick. How would you rank those wide receivers there?
Amari Cooper,
between Marquise Brown, Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, Tim Patrick.
I'd probably go Amari, T.Y., Tim Patrick, Hollywood. That's how I'd have those. Wait, this is PPR, he had said, right?
Correct. No, he didn't say.
He doesn't designate here. I might be burnt or a little bit, but I don't really want to trust T.Y. Hilton. I think if I'm picking 3 out of this whole group, it's Myles Gaskin because of the volume. It's Amari Cooper. And then I'm going to go for the upside play in Hollywood Brown. I think against that Cleveland secondary, they've given up a ton of touchdowns. I think Lamar's come back hot. He had a great rushing touchdown. He's going to get a nice cake matchup against Cleveland. I think they're starting to pick up steam on offense, Baltimore is.
We've also got to factor in Ezekiel Elliott and Myles Gaskin. Is Zeke top of the list?
You have to monitor this calf. You got to make sure because it's still not up in the air. He's saying he's going to play. Calf injuries are finicky. So but I think you're like Big Travis said, when it comes to running back, like you're definitely getting Myles Gaskins in your lineup in this game.
I want to bring up one point.
4 straight weeks, just real quickly. Sorry, Austin. 4 straight weeks for Zeke under 70% snap share. So they've been using Tony Pollard quite a bit more. And even in this game, I can imagine that going a little bit lower with the calf. So this is a good matchup against Cincy for Zeke, but give me the volume that Myles Gaskin is going to see in a similarly good matchup against Kansas City.
The one thing I want to bring up from a starting Zeke perspective. Now, the reduction in production is a concern. We talked about this earlier, the first 5 weeks of the season. With Dak Prescott, Zeke had 5 rushing touchdowns. Since then, without Dak, he's had 0 rushing touchdowns. That's obviously a concern, but the man is still a stud. And even if you find yourself at the end of the season with a running back like Zeke, who plays for a team that's out of the playoffs, let's say they're there, if he's starting, he's going to give it all he's got. and what he's got is better than most. So don't be concerned by the lack of playoff hopes for the Cowboys or whatever team you're looking at a player on. I've just held these sentiments every fantasy season. And then like week 16, 17, a team that has no hopes, but their stud still plays and he goes off. So just don't be concerned. That's all I'm saying. We're at that point in the year. It's week 14. We're talking about a stud running back in Ezekiel Elliott on a team that's had a lot of bad luck and a lot of bad fortune this year. But if he starts, I would encourage starting him as well. Terrell, too nice. Matt Ryan, no Julio, or Kirk Cousins versus Tampa Bay. Johnny, you had some great stats on Matt Ryan without Julio Jones recently.
Yeah, he's
sticking by those.
He's 3-3. He's only thrown 3 touchdowns, and he's thrown 3 interceptions, compared to this was as of last week, so I needed to check. But as of last week, he had thrown 14 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, with Julio in the lineup. So yeah, I think that this tremendously goes down. Now, whether or not I would rather play Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins against Tampa Bay, I think I would still probably roll with the matchup and Matt Ryan in this case over Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, so to Johnny's point, the bad news is the Julio splits. The good news is that when he faces a bottom 10 defense, he's averaging 361 yards and 3 touchdowns. And so you have the Chargers who are giving up the 5th most points to QBs. So for me, I agree with Johnny. I think you lean into Matt Ryan here in this potential shootout against the Chargers.
That's a great stat you had there, Big Travie. Whoever procured that was on their game. Kane 2100s. Thank you guys. Love your answer. You helped me out a lot. Thank you, Kane 2100. You help us out a lot by hitting that thumbs up button, as does the rest of Whisper Nation. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, go ahead and do us all a favor. We're trying to get to 69 likes on the day, and we can only do it with you. We're all maxed out on our fake accounts. So thank you for tuning in, Whisper Nation. We love to spend our Friday afternoons with you. David Z's got a really good question here, Big Trav. Is it too risky to play Corey Davis over A.J. Brown this week in full point PPR?
Absolutely
Johnny
not.
too, man. This is such a good one.
Yeah, like this is not even a question. No, I'm just kidding. It is a little risky, obviously, if you play Corey Davis over A.J. Brown. Over the last 5 weeks, though, A.J. Brown or Corey Davis has been the better wide receiver, right? He's had the better yards, or he's had the better points, and he's had the more red zone usage. But I'm still starting A.J. Brown every week that I can over Corey Davis because the blow-up spot for A.J. Brown, the ceiling is so much higher for A.J. Brown. Like, he can win you a week. Not saying Corey can't, but it's been happening more frequently for A.J. Brown over his career.
And I would say
Landon McCarthy says
the one other thing is that with Brown, he can make your day with one play. It's less likely with Corey Davis because Corey Davis gets a lot of the underneath stuff.
So we've got Landon MacArthur giving the Dolphins a shout out. Go Fins. Love that storyline, man. I would absolutely love to see the Dolphins go deep this year. But David Z needs some help here streaming defenses for the playoffs. He's got a lot of choices, such as Miami, Buffalo, Kansas City, Washington, Cleveland, San Fran.
Cleveland.
He just doesn't know who he should target. Cleveland. Yeah, San
Fran. I would pick up Cleveland and San Fran right now.
And maybe we can expand on this one just a little bit of some of the metrics that you look for when you're considering starting and streaming a defense. Like, are there obviously you want a good defense. Obviously, you're looking for a team with nasty pass rushers and can pick up turnovers. But how do you help determine what kind of defense you're looking for? Travi, is there anything that comes to mind that you use when you're navigating defensive streamers? Especially especially at this point in the season when weather, I'll say first, weather, if you got a crazy, snowy, messed up weather game, get some action in there from a defensive perspective. Weird stuff happens. Fumbles, interceptions.
Yeah, Austin, I love the setup here. I think that's exactly what you're looking for. You want to look at weather. You want to look at pass rushing. You want to look at sacks. Does this team get a lot of sacks? You want to look at a few things that week. You know, VegasInsider.com puts out the lines for every game. I like to, when I'm streaming, look at low over-unders where the spread is very even or that team is favored, preferably. Because what you're saying is there's not a lot of points to be scored, and that team should win, so they should control the game. Not saying that happens every time, and it's burned me plenty, but it's actually been very profitable. You know, you look at some of the teams that are in that scenario. We talked about Carolina, favored at home with a low under. San Francisco, favored at home with a low over-under. You look at the New York Giants, not favored, but barely. Arizona's barely favored in that one by 3. The Giants at home with a low over-under. So there's some things working in all these different matchups that you like. To Johnny's point about Cleveland, they get, the Jets, I believe. They also get the Giants. You look at the Niners schedule, they get Washington this week. They get Dallas next week, Arizona in the championship. So there's some good matchups, and Johnny was right to say Cleveland and San Francisco for sure out of those group.
Travis, that was a great breakdown, man. Thank you for laying that one down. The only other thing, if you're getting real deep on it and you can find quarterbacks who have really bad completion percentage or quarterback rankings against pressure, and then you have a defense that's especially good at applying pressure, that can be a real sneaky find. But you can come to us with those questions. That's a little bit of a deeper take. We've got our PFF subscriptions. We can help with those metrics. Come and join us an hour and a half before kickoff every Sunday, where you can have all of your lineup questions answered and updates to these news and nuggets coming into your ear holes, because a lot's going to happen over the next 48 hours and before kickoff actually comes in. So make sure you've liked and subscribed to the Fantasy Whispers so you get that notification of when we have gone live, and you can get those last remaining playoff questions answered to help you win your matchup and get that championship. Hang it in your house. We've got Lude Icy. Says he's in the playoffs. Congratulations. With someone who has Stephon Diggs and Terry McLaurin. Is that good? Whoever's got Stephon Diggs and Terry McLaurin is looking good. If you're playing against him, I hope you have Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams.
Hey, this week is going to be a little rough. Tough matchups, but start your stud.
Start your stud. You heard it from the man here first. Yaz Whedon. Christmas ham or stick with the bird? Other main course?
I love turkey, man. If turkey's on the table for Christmas too, look, turkey should be on a table everywhere all the time. It's my favorite sandwich meat. It's fantastic.
Steak and whipped cream for me. That's what I eat on Christmas. Medium rare fillets and a healthy dose of whipped cream. That is my Thanksgiving tradition.
Cool Whip or actual like whipped cream?
Oh no, it's got to be the heavy whip. Heavy whip on a nice fillet. It is delicious. So I encourage you on that one. But I'm also a Travi. I like the bird over the ham. Great question, Yaz. Gus Ramos, what up, guys?
The Gus Bus.
The Gus Bus.
No yelling on the bus.
Unless it's Gus, man, you do whatever you want. Landon MacArthur, what type of defense do the Dolphins play to try to slow down the Chiefs' offense? Their best. Do you have any more insights on what you can do to try to slow down maybe the greatest quarterback of all time? Or at least the most skilled quarterback of all time? He's got a long ways until he's the greatest, but...
You ever see Caddyshack? They're going to need that little gopher to run around in the grass and maybe trip Pat Mahomes up or something.
I know it's Happy Gilmore when he rides on the go-kart and he's you jackass. That's every time when Pat Mahomes is about to throw.
You're going to need some help. That's what we're saying. I don't think the Dolphins have what it takes, and neither does Vegas. They're favored. Chiefs are favored by like a touchdown. But you love the Dolphins. What's been said a lot about the Dolphins lately is that defense is confusing people. I doubt it's going to confuse Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, but it has confused others in the past, including those Arizona Cardinals of Johnny. So Johnny's side of the and Austin's,
I mean, they still scored 31 points. So how much?
Just
saying.
Really I'm just saying, dude. Confused them.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins might try to confuse Patrick Mahomes, but it'll be like Patrick Mahomes being like, "What do they think they're doing?" Touchdown. It'll be confusing from that perspective. Like, he's clicking at such a good clip at this point.
Yeah.
So what type of defense do the Dolphins play? You know, their best. Gaskins or a questionable Josh Jacobs against the brick wall that is DeForest Buckner?
You gotta say what's up to Trung. This is
Trung. What's up to Trung? I love it.
Trung is a coworker of mine, or used to be a coworker of mine over at CIS. Just want to say what's up to Trung. Trung actually turned me on to a bunch of fantasy football playoffs or platforms. Trung's been playing fantasy football for I think about 20 years. He's been playing for a long time.
Nice.
So appreciate you in here, Trung. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah.
I think I'm going with Myles Gaskin here. I'm concerned about Josh Jacobs' usage if he does come back. I'm concerned about the matchup against Indy. I know it's a high over/under, but I am not concerned about Gaskin when he's on the field. That guy just gets it done. And so Chiefs, we've talked about this Chiefs-Dolphins game quite a bit. If the Dolphins want to win, the best defense, here's the answer to the question before, actually. The best defense for the Dolphins is to keep giving the ball to Myles Gaskin and keep it away from Patrick Mahomes. I think that would be their best chance to win this game.
And also say too with Josh Jacobs, that man is so tough and is always trying to get in the game. And if he's not 100%, like his efficiency is not good. It's just not. And well, it's going to be up to John Gruden to hold him back, which he's going to have to because Jacobs, if he can, he's always trying to get on the field. So I like your take there in Gaskins, Big Travie. David Z, thanks guys. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining and thank you for hitting that like button. It really goes a long way. So if you haven't done that yet, please hit that thumbs up button. Where are we at?
41. We need 41 more.
41. We need 41 more in 4 minutes. We can do it. We
got this.
Do it. Lud Icy asks your thoughts on Antonio Brown versus the Vikings.
Johnny,
I know you've been
on this. This is AB's his boy.
You should definitely play AB. He will score a touchdown in this game. I'm calling it right now.
This is the blow up spot. All right, you heard it here first.
I'm telling you guys, you're laughing, but Tom Brady will hook up with AB for a touchdown against the Vikings. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. That's the tea we're drinking.
Yeah.
It's like a Charles Barkley guarantee.
Yep, my Charles Barkley game time guarantee stamp of approval.
This might make the next question from Gus Ramos a little easier. He needs a flex. Kiki, Ty Johnson, Jamal Williams, or Antonio Brown?
Yeah, I will get. I will give Johnny the Antonio Brown nod here too because it looks like Frank Gore might actually suit up. At least that's what Adam Gase said. If you trust anything Adam Gase says at all.
He's so strange. Lud Icy says LMFAO bet. That's what's up. Landon MacArthur Gaskin because the Chiefs run D isn't the best. Yeah, we see you on this one. So jumping here over back to some of our news bits. I got to ask, is Austin Hooper sidelined at Friday's practice? This is a name that was creeping up. Austin Hooper was becoming more of a relevant play. Johnny, is he off the radar now for you, even if Austin Hooper does start?
Yeah, Austin Hooper, I don't like him in the, the matchup, not ideal. Baltimore, one of the toughest against the tight end position, and then he hasn't seen more than 2 targets in all but 1 game since he's come back from his surgery. So I'm fading Hooper in general.
Right. We touched on this with some of the questions. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys halfback, Ezekiel Elliott, Big Travis. His calf made him questionable this upcoming week. He's been in and out of practice. Do you want to expand a little bit on Ezekiel Elliott and the role you expect for him and the Cowboys this week against Cincinnati?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it just a little bit ago. Under 70% snap percentage in the last 3 weeks. But he's still, like you said, Austin, he's a top 10 back in both standard and PPR, even though he's had some struggles and hasn't scored a rushing touchdown since Zeke's been out. So if he goes, he's a fine start against Cincinnati. There's going to be few guys I'm starting ahead of him. One of those earlier we said is Myles Gaskin, at least for me, but that's based on pure usage and a good matchup. I think you can do a lot worse than Zeke, even with the calf this week.
Yeah, and with the Detroit Lions, Kenny Golladay is hip, keeping him out. He's done. Marvin Jones getting a nice boost. DeAndre Swift, he's sick. He's questionable. He's going to probably be limited. You need to keep an eye out for updates related to DeAndre Swift. Those updates are really going to have an impact on his startability. The best way to find more information and clarity on this before kickoff is by joining the Fantasy Whispers 90 minutes before kickoff on Sunday here on our YouTube channel. Johnny and Travis are ready for you. Jumping in the chats, having all of your questions answered to get through that. Johnny, are we out of here? I know you had an out today on this one. Are we signing off right now?
We can answer these last few questions in the chat, but then yeah. Fortunately, I have to go.
We're going to get to the last questions here in the chat, and then we got to go. But you can go ahead and DM us your questions here on Instagram, on message us through YouTube. You can get Johnny's number. It's 1-800-SPANK-ME. Send him a text message straight to his phone. He's got you. We'll get all your questions answered. But really, seriously, join us 90 minutes before kickoff. And the best way to remember that, I know right now you have intention to do it, but you're going to forget. So just hit that subscribe button, hit the little thumbs up. It'll send you a notification. The Fantasy Whispers have gone live 90 minutes before kickoff. Drop us any of your lineup questions. We'll help you get that dub on week 14, week 1 of the playoffs here. So let's get through these last remaining questions so we can get Johnny, we can get him off and doing what he needs to be doing here. Gus Ramos, he's also got Gore. Gus, man, I love you, dude. Easy now, boy. Would you guys prefer Todd Gurley or Melvin Gordon this week? He's low-key nervous for Big Todd because he's questionable and his knees are, I don't know.
I'm going Melvin Gordon.
He's got J.J. knees now.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah. So would you guys prefer Todd Gurley or Melvin Gordon this week?
Melvin Gordon's the right answer.
Johnny?
Carolina's a great matchup here. Melvin Gordon, in this case, you have a better option. I do want to give a little confidence on Todd Gurley is that their head coach said that he is going to get a full workload this week. So
you do like to hear that. It's a bit of confidence there. And Lude Icy wants to know about the Cardinals defense, the 49ers defense, or the Cowboys versus Cincinnati. Johnny, you'd mentioned the 49ers before. Do you stick with them in this trio of options?
Yeah, I would. I do like the Cardinals as a sneaky defense, but not over the 49ers this week.
Anthony Acosta, Calvin Ridley, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs. Pick 2 of them, Travis.
We're going to this is tough. I'm going to take Ridley and Diggs. I like Jefferson a lot. I like the matchup too, and I would fade Diggs maybe. But Diggs has just been so consistent. Even in his bad games, he gets like 90 yards, good yardage. So, and then Ridley without Julio is going to get all the targets here.
Landon MacArthur says Tyreek Hill missed practice with an illness. It's the same illness that CEH had. Maybe it's non-COVID related. Andy Reid has said Tyreek Hill is going to play. You can start him with confidence. But for any of these other last-minute lineup questions, make sure you join our 90 minutes before kickoff lineup show here on YouTube. We'll have all of your questions answered, and we'll have more information over between now and then to help decipher and give you the best possible answer to help you win your matchup. So make sure you've joined in, Landon MacArthur, and there's no better way to know that we're going live than to like and subscribe to our content here. Del Leon Panuelo asks, does Miles Sanders have a good chance this week with Hurts under center, Travis?
Not against the
Absolutely
Saints.
not.
Johnny and Travis say no. That's all you need to know.
Look, I love Miles Sanders, and I wish he was going to be in a better spot, but it's just not a good spot for him against New Orleans this week.
Yaz Whedon adds, cheetahs like their rest, especially when their tummy's hurt. So give them what they need there. Easy Now Boy says, thank you. You're welcome, Easy Boy. And thank you all to Whisper Nation for joining us on this Friday afternoon for our News and Nuggets show. It has been a true treat to be with you all this afternoon. And my last call to it, if you haven't hit like, if you haven't hit subscribe, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It helps us grow the channel and continue doing what we love to do. And join us on Sunday for our live lineup show. You can have all of your questions answered by Johnny and Travis in real time to help you get to that dub week 14. Johnny, Travis, did I miss anything?
Nope.
Oh, just Easy Now Boy saying later goats. Appreciate the love there, Easy Now Boy.
Much love.
Love you. All right. I'm Austin Sear. That's Big Travie, Johnny Game Time Hicks. See you on Sunday.
Peace.
Peace.